Morning, John Neal here. It's Wednesday the 19th of April 2023. This isn't the prettiest place, but this is where the River Anker splits to the flood relief channel, and the River Anker goes into Nuneaton over that way. And that's the way I'm going to follow first. It's prettier than this bit. Well, this is the quiet, tranquil River Anker, gently meandering its way into the direction of Nuneaton from across those fields at Burton Hastings. And if you're thinking, hang on a minute, it's a bit noisy. Yeah, because it's crossing the Eastborough Way bypass near Nuneaton Borough football ground, and it is quite noisy. I'll try and get across the road. No, can't go yet. It's a busy bypass, and I want to go over there to show you the other side, because it's over there. Oh my goodness, look at this. Here we go. Ooh. So the river goes this way and off towards Nuneaton, but you should never believe your local elderly vlogger, because the point when I just said there were those three big tunnels, that's only where the flood relief goes underneath the railway. The actual junction where it splits is down here somewhere, and I'm not quite sure where. There's a lot of ground. I'm going to have to go down the road here and see if I can get a bit closer to it. I'm just pausing for a moment on the Eastborough Way here, because opposite the crematorium, which is over there, this is the entrance to the rugby club, look, and it's never been used. It's got a grand entrance really, and the signs up Nuneaton Rugby Football Club and rugby balls. But as you can hear, it's right on the junction of the Eastborough Way, this sort of bypass, and it's too dangerous, so the entrance had to be put round the other side. I think it's called joined up thinking. Didn't happen, did it? Well, I have to admit, I found it. I have to say, I've never been here before. I don't come and watch the sports here. The stadium here for the football club is there. I nearly said soccer, sorry. And the rugby fields are here. Yeah. And this is the overflow, which is huge. And there's a lot of water coming through here. This looks like a proper river, but this is the overflow section. And where those big tunnels were, those pipes, is over there, which is only, I was close. Come on, give me that much. I was close. There's about 300 yards away. I'll go over there in a minute and have a look. And yeah, that's where the overflow goes underneath the railway. But the river itself is this bit here, which is tiny. I'm just trying to work out how that turns out to be the bigger river that goes through River Park, which is quite nice, quite wide. Maybe it's just shallower, I don't know. It is joined on by another couple of streams en route. We can talk about that later. But yeah, this is it. This is where the split occurs. The anchor goes that way and the flood relief system goes that way. They join again later in Sandon Fields in Weddington. Now you know. Now I know. this is the rugby club, and the other day I went to Paul's Ford, which was in the middle of the fields at the back of the golf club area and golf drive, and there was no ford. There was a little one, but there was a proper bridge built, so I was a little bit disappointed. And guess what I found? It's a ford. It's a proper ford, look. It's the rugby club ford, and this is the flood release that comes along here and then over to those tunnels under the railway. But to get the tractors, you know, the cutting gear across, they've made a ford. So that's it. I found a ford at last. I'm quite chuffed. Well, there it is, look. I'm not doing the flood relief channel yet, but since I was near it, on the other side of here, this is the slightly more picturesque tunnel that goes under the railway. I think that's the railway that goes to, I'll find out. There's two railways go out of town which need to be negotiated. But yeah, this is it, look. I don't know what you call this area. It's a mystery, really. There's two main railway lines which branch off here. I'm at the back of the rugby club and Attleborough Fields estate. The railways are in the way for making your way through. The river makes its way down here somewhere. Thank you, look at that. There we go. A train, just to prove my point. And there's this sort of track that meanders through all this vegetation. I'll say this much, if this was the height of summer, I would not get through, because it's just brambles, nettles and long grass. Great for wildlife, I have to say, but I can't go much further because it gets very muddy and horrible. But I've got a feeling it ought to go under that bridge somehow. There's a bit of a viaduct there. Oh well, there you go. I think I'm going to have to backtrack and get back on the road. This is Anker Mills, and I have to say, I don't think I've been here before. It's good fun, this project, because it's taken me to little nooks and crannies around Nuneaton which I've not seen before, not been to before. This is rather nice. Here's the river. It's reasonably, oops, here comes a train. Yeah, the river looks reasonably clean actually, despite the fact there's a traffic cone down there. Best not park down there then, had I? But this is the river making its way on into Nuneaton, and of course it's been starved of at least half of its water, having gone down the flood relief section as well. Yeah, okay, the river's interesting, isn't it, because it's sneaking its way rather cunningly into the middle of Nuneaton, down passageways and under railways and through areas like this, which not everybody knows about. It's rather pleasant path, no litter really, no. The river's not pretty, but it's there, and this is where it meets the Attleborough Road. Let's go and have a bit of a closer look. And it goes under the Attleborough Road. I love these pipes. This sort of shows some of the things that are under the road, look. This great big pipe, probably a sewer pipe. It's got some barbs on there to stop people climbing that way, but not on the other side. Oh, let me just pause for a moment. As a former sign writer, I'm quite interested in this lettering that's been painted on the end of this building. I think this style of advertising goes back to at least the 1920s or 30s. So it's probably about 100 years old, and I think it's worth noting that it's there before it eventually completely disappears. It goes over there, look. Let's go and have a quick look. Oh, there's a path that just goes across. And there's the river heading off towards the Pingles. Certain amount of debris down there, I have to say. Well, I think that'll do for part 3. Look, I found the place where the flood relief starts, and the River Anker then makes its way rather grandly through all this vegetation on towards the middle of Nuneaton. So in the next section, I think we'll go into Riversley Park and out through the other side of the centre of Nuneaton. And we can see where the River Anker then gets its full complement of water back from the flood defence system and heads on towards Tamworth.